And so I guess the main question, like why I originally reached out to you, which honestly was probably 2 years ago, and you just ignored me forever, but I'm persistent, was like, how do you stay profitable, right? Like in this current environment, climate, like everyone is kind of the woe is me. It's the government's against us. There's truth behind that. Like it's not wrong. However, there are still people like yourself that are successfully putting out a good end product. And, I'm not going to say like making money, but like obviously you're still surviving, thriving in the current state. You're still putting out like a good product. And one of the things that like made me even more interested to talk to you was there was a LinkedIn post and somebody threw out something about, per square footage, it just does not work. And, we should go modular homes. And you were so analytical in your response. It was like, hey, this is how we do it. We have this system in place and like our timelines are always met. So I guess the question is like, what's the secret sauce? How do you produce product that is good for the end consumer? And I don't want to say like affordable, but housing is a need in BC and you're providing a need that people can actually, move into at a price that, well, yeah, I'll say affordable is affordable to them,
Yeah, for sure. Market affordable. Anyway, there's a lot of meat to chew on that bone there. First of all, sorry that you felt ignored for, I don't think it was 2 years. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
an exaggeration. But, I was like, what am I going to do on a podcast? So I'm finding
I
out
love that he asked you two
now.
years ago how you stayed profitable, and then you waited 2 years where it just gets harder and harder, and now you're going to answer
Yeah,
the
for
question.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, the big answer to that, there's a long answer that would take a half an hour. So I'm trying to figure out like, how do I summarize? I mean, I think fundamentally it starts with our vision that we want everyone in Highstreet's community to recommend their friends to work with us, live with us, and invest with us. And what does that mean? It means we start with the focus on the people. So you want to create a great environment for people to work in. That involves everybody. I mean, I think that's not just the high streeters, that's trades we work with and everybody else. So we've been focused on that for a long time. We met relative success through the years without being totally awesome at construction. And we didn't even start construction on our own until 2016. So until then, it was all working with my brother's company, Train, and now Train does their own development as well. So we started a construction company in 2016. We had an ambition to be nicer than everybody else and create a great environment, but we didn't know how. And it wasn't until 2022 we met a company out of Phoenix that was doing lean construction implementation. And so we got to know them in a hurry, started using them to change how we deliver projects using this kind of lean production system that they developed over the years, which was based on the Toyota production system. And as we adopted that, we found that, all of a sudden we're delivering every building on time based on the schedule we set out from when we started. More recently, we've started to deliver projects on or under budget. And that's all through a huge combination of the system, which really starts with respect for people and continuous improvement. Those are kind of the two main tenets of lean. You start there, but then there's a whole bunch of systems to go along with it, from just the transparency of it, see as a team, know as a team, act as a team. We talk about there's a tax schedule involved that gets into this complicated discussion around tack time and everything else. The whole idea is to create flow. So if you can create flow on the construction site, it flows for everybody. And then that makes the whole thing smooth, and you remove roadblocks ahead and you get the whole team engaged. And I mean, it's everything from morning huddles to the forum meeting and having the right agenda. And there's a whole bunch of components to it. That's certainly our biggest cost driver when it comes to developing. And there's another component though too that shouldn't be overlooked, is the design and the repeat design that we've been doing for the last few years, with a renewed focus on that a couple of years ago. So repeat design, an efficient design, and at the same time still spending money on areas that others may not, that people don't see. We talked about step code 4, and so we're the largest builder of step code 4 carbon-free buildings, we think, in Canada. I know that sounds like a big claim, but pretty sure. Anyway, so you think about all the people involvement. I mean, we could segue that into this whole discussion that I could go on for another 10 minutes about, the compensation philosophy and the involvement we have, our people who are investors, like our employees who are investors, our trades who are investors. We have a bonus program. We do matching on that to make sure they invest. How does that all wrap together into being efficient and doing the right thing? Like we care and we're owners and we have a good system, right? Like there's a lot to it.
Yeah, when we had coffee a while back there, one of the takeaways for me was you were like, it's a construction industry, but like the old story is, yeah, guys need to work overtime and work Saturday and work Sunday. And it's just this like, you're just grinding away and then you don't really have much of a personal family life, mental health, anything. And so, I mean, that was such a big takeaway to me is like, if you actually have authenticity around like supporting your employees so they can go home on time and pick up their kids and, do whatever is a priority to them, they're going to be happier. They're going to be more efficient. They're going to work, faster. And then the other part of that conversation, it was, probably funny to both of us as we were talking about it. But when you were trying to sign, I guess, the contract of like when you would complete on possession, you wanted to put a specific date, right? And the selling team, the listing agent was like, well, we'll put like the winter or we'll put the spring. So like that is so cool because no one's going to really put their money where their mouth is. Like developers don't.